Welcome back. I've trimmed off this call it baseboards for the little ship. I know it sits in here, so I think you can see how that fits in there, but it doesn't get glued in yet. I need to do the supports, which is the next bit. So where have I put my little roll? My problem is I keep taking rules and things. I think I took it inside. I brought my pencils back. I must have brought the ruler back. Okay. Ah dear. So many rules. Here's one. My little one's missing at the moment. So I need 2 pieces at 60mm. 60 mils is 6 centimeters. Very easy to do. So I'll cut them first. Do you think my cutter's going to work? I hope so. So let's mark it down. This might be something else that needs a new blade put in it. Would you believe it's right on the line, but it won't cut through it. Maybe my wood's getting soft, I don't know. See that? It won't cut through it. But if I do that, and that, you can see I've managed to put the grooves in these wood bearers. I've taken these centerpieces out and stuck them in. I can show you where it goes. It actually sits right across that spindle, like that, across these beams, and this boat will sit, I guess, a little bit further forward. Will sit in its frame like that, something like that. That's the other side. It'll sit like that, and then that will sit inside the ship. The oars go inside this one. Quite effective, but I'll show you that as we go along. Don't need to see all that just now. There's a bit to do before we get to that. This has to be painted. I'm just waiting for it to set, and then we'll move on to the next stage. See you in a second. Right guys, I got my little bracket finished. It's painted. I've now got to do some brassy bits, which will go into here. So it's these bits here. Hope you can see these. I've already done the edging of this black, and then these become 2 little, I guess the mast supports. But that's how they end up looking anyway. That's what they look like. I need to find all the right pliers now. I'm still trying to work out where a lot of my tools are at the moment. One set of pliers, I haven't found it. Is this them? Little round ones? Yeah, that's the ones. There you go. I seem to have everything here. Now, let's see if I can do this after so long away from it. I'm looking through my magnifier to see what I'm doing. I hope you can see what I'm doing, since it's being filmed. And one thing I do notice, I need a new end on my knife. Right. Great thing about these industrial style knives, you just nip a bit off and off you go again. Yes, it's going to be a droppy session today. I would think it's nearly the end of July. We've had a couple of weeks of really hot and steamy weather. It really was hot. And then, you know, summer. You always say that July is summertime. Well, July has been mostly rain. The garden loves it. Me, not so much. Oh, look. That paint couldn't have been on very well. Look at that, it just came straight off. Okay, I can touch that up in a minute. So, first things first, it goes on here. I've got to make sure I get this one the right way around. I've angled the bottom already. So, that's going to go there. Right. I should touch up the paint first, I think. I think the problem is that I had to water up some of the paint to make it liquidy. It was really... I need to get to a place where I can't see. Hope you can still see what I'm doing. Yeah, it's not too bad. Now this bit really is a bit where you just use little touches of sticky stuff. First I've got to take the excess off the end of the tube. Watch the glue come down the tube. Touch there, touch there, touch there. 4 little touches, and that's going to be absolutely more than enough for this, because I'm going to pick it up like that. Right there. That has to set now. So put that to one side. Get the brass down. Now I've got to cut these two little brackets here. I'm going to need next. So this is number 2, which goes on that piece there. I'll just put the thing on. So we'll do number 3 first. Where'd it go? This is, it really is. Where'd I put it? So, first you bend that one. So what I want this to do is bend from here and bend from here. So it's bent out on those two. Then we get my rounding flowers like this. Somewhere about there in the middle. And we bring them around. Like, I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. This is really small stuff. Now can you see that on there? Comes out quite nice, doesn't it? So what we do now is we just put a drop of glue there. Drop of glue there. And then we're going to try and tweezer it back into place. I won't believe it. I know I keep saying this. If I did this 20 times, 19 times out of 20 it would be perfect, and then the one I want to film, it'll go wrong. Just like that. I hope you can see that. I'm going to put a little spot of glue on it. I'm going to put another little spot on just to give it some security. Let that bit set. Right. I really hope you're getting to see the detail in this. I can't tell from looking through here what it is you're seeing. Let me see. I need to get my connections back up and running. Yeah, I think you saw most of that. I'll try putting my monitor on. I'll come back to you a second. Right, I just managed to get my camera reset. I've put this grate on the front piece, and I've put the mast holding bracket onto this piece of wood here. I've got to put a mast holding bracket onto this one, which is my next little job. You're at a funny angle to the workbench, but it's the best I can do with my current setup. What I really need is to mount the bracket up here somewhere, up there, up there, so it's looking down on here, but I don't have that facility at the moment, so you just have to bear with me while I try and work out how to do this, that you can see the most detail. So we bend that one, we bend that one, and we bend it this way. So it doesn't need to know what. As you can hear, I've got I managed to keep dropping my tweezers. I think if I tied a piece of string around them, I might be able to hang on to them. So I need to work under a magnifier, which means that you don't get to see what I'm doing most of the time. So what I do is bend it around there a couple of times and try it on the wood and take the pliers out. Do you see that, guys? Our bracket then sits in there. Makes it look like it's going to hold a mast, but yeah, it needs a little bit more bend, I think. This one needs to be bent out a bit. This one out a bit. You don't get an awful lot of play when it's something so small. And then see if I can bend it a little bit better around this pliers. Let's see how that is. It doesn't look too bad. So yeah, that's not a bad position to be in. Okay. So you have to be so careful with these tiny little bits. And with this, because once you put glue on these, those of you who work with super glue will know that it wants to stick to everything that shouldn't be stuck. Like my fingers. And now the piece of metal is stuck to my finger. I think we just about got it. There we are. One little mast mounting bracket. It's very clever, really. Okay, let's see what the next bit is. Yeah, now we've got to fit it to that little. It's got to be fitted to this little boat. So this is. I've already shaped them so they just slot in like that. we already know it's a good fit, so a little bit of glue to hold that in. Just going to make it lie down first. Very good. I think I've said it several times during the build of the ship, so if you've been listening along, you know that cyanoacrylic is a capillary glue, which means if there's a groove, you just put it on the groove and it will run along it. You can see it mostly did that just now. Just wipe off the excess. There. So, oh, that's good. You just got to view my magnifier. Let's see what you're looking at. Yeah, you will. So, now this bit. Remember which way around I made it. Now this piece here, just got to double check where that is going to go. It's the 1, 2, so not this one, count 4 from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's this one, it's going to go on. And well, you'll see that it's probably just a little bit too big. Oh, it's a hair's whisker away from being a perfect fit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll take this and we'll rub a bit off that end and a little bit of that end. You can't see I rubbed an awful lot away. And it is now perfect fit. So, little bit in there and a little bit in there. That's those little bits done. So, what comes next? Oh yeah, we got to put some spars in. WS11, which is 1.5 by 2. Now I've got a whole load of that here. That's 1/2 by 2. Where did I put my 1.5 by 2? This one. I think this is 1.5 by 2. That's okay, bear with me, I need to go to get out the box. On to the next stage. You can see that that's set up quite nicely now. I'm quite pleased with the results of that. So the next bit is to paint this hull white. yeah, until the level point there. So this paint hasn't been used in 2 months, but I've given it a good shake. I think it needs a bigger shake actually, looking in. It's kind of, it's watery and it's thick, so it's a good mix. But as I said before, this is all water-based paint, so shouldn't be too bad. So let's see how that is. Yeah, there we go. You know you've got it when you get a big bubble up on the top there. White paint. So this is dead easy. It's not going to take very long. And then we'll let this set, which will probably take about, I don't know, about an hour. Don't need to go all the way up to the top, that was at the back. I really don't have to go all the way up to the top on the sides either, because, well, you'll see very shortly, it's going to be painted red at the top, and then underneath the red there'll be a black strip, kind of like the other ship, but where it had a yellow strip, this one has a red strip. As I say, it doesn't take very long to do. It looks quite nice when it's painted actually. So there won't be any work done on the ship tomorrow because tomorrow is hospital day. We have to go back every week at the moment, so my wife has to, as I say, give an armful of blood and they can check it for what they need to check. They really are quite thorough in what they check, and they adjust her medication, her daily medication accordingly. She takes so many tablets at the moment she rattles. That's what she says. Anyway, that's that painted. That's all it takes. Not difficult, is it? And that's it for about an hour. That needs to set because the next bit's to do some red paint, and I need the white to be set before I do the red. More of that red number 10 that we talked about, I think, in the last video. I lose track of which clip is going in which video. So I think this one, what I'm filming now, will become video number 99 of this series. Never thought I'd get to that many. But those of you who've been with me since the beginning know that I only work 3 or 4 hours a day on this. And yeah, it's been quite a long project. But approaching 2 years now. I think it's about 20 months, but away from that I've had 2 months off while my wife was out, and I had about 2 months out while they were building this nice little shed. So take 4 months off that and we're down to about 14-15 months, at 4 hours a day. So you can see it's quite a few hours tied up in building these ships. Okay, I'll be back in a few seconds for you. Right, had a little break, got it nice and dry. Now we go for the number 10. Let's see if this is going to be moist or, oh no, that's not too bad. But we'll use the smaller brush for this, because I have to. Right guys, next step, I've masked the line. I did it with a little bit of jiggery pokery and a bit of dowel and a bit of pencil, and we marked up the line that has to be painted above. Dead easy. So, I'll put my magnifier up so I can see what I'm doing. And now when I did this on the other ship, when it came time to paint the rudder, I managed to get my white and my black the wrong way around. Let's see if I can do this a little bit better. Just trying to follow the line, the tape line that I put in. I use very probably sewing. I've got white tape. I'm painting white. Painted a masked up white with white tape. But I don't have any other colour apart from using my purple tape, which is just a common masking tape. It's not much good for modelling. I say it's not much good for modelling. It allows too much bleed on a model. And on a model you don't want any, you want very little bleed, if possible none at all. So You get so far down the paint pot, can't tell if you're at the bottom of the paint pot to pick up a large blob of glue, or you're only just in the paint and you're only just about going to get your brushes wet. I can just about see the tape there. I think I get this little bit of black done today, and that'll be me then. So tomorrow, as I said, we're at the hospital. I don't know what time we get back. If we get back in time for me to do the next little stage on here, I'll do that. If not, this will be the end of this video. So don't forget, like, share and subscribe, and all being well, I'll see you in the next one. Well, I managed to get back at a reasonable time today. I think the doctors are getting wise to us. The fact that we have to travel quite a distance. Well, said the doctor, the head doctor, who's the one who's principally treating. I mean, anyway, had her in as quick as I was back in the car. She was being called into his office. So, we were done quite quick today, which is nice. Yeah, we've got a little bit of bleed. That's to be expected. Okay, I can fix that, and I can fix that, and I can fix that. 3 little bits of white to be cleared up, and then we'll move on to the next phase. Be back in a few seconds. Right guys, just wrap things up on this video. I've cut the brass piece, which is here, and bent it, and I've shaped the rudder here, and I've painted it. This will get added to that, and then I've got to make 2 holes in the back here. That'll be tomorrow. I have to wait for the paint to dry before I can do anything else. So that's it for this video. See you on the next one.